Welcome everyone again. So ask me anything today, 2nd of November. We are going to be talking about firstly choosing your tea supply. So it's one of those questions that you probably would not be speaking to a tea supplier about. It's a question that I only get, maybe once in a blue moon from someone who's a bit more savvy with their business and say, so why should I choose you? Kind of thing. It's almost like a job interview. So I want to help you understand that, yes, there are many different types of tea suppliers around. And certainly there are some that are really great. They have relationship with a particular, country or region or a type of tea because they totally love it. And then there are others that are, sort of more of an all-rounder. And of course, there are, all the different ones in between. So the important thing when you come to select your tea supplier is to think about what you need right now, obviously, but also what you might need in 12 months' time, in 24 months' time, and so on. So what I mean by that is, let's just say right now you're looking at just 6 types of tea, and you're probably just focusing on maybe some, detox and relaxing teas, and things like that. That's great. That's a great start. No worries there. But what about in 12 months or 24 months time? Would you be considering actually expanding your range, looking at some of the other teas, maybe even a few teas that you can actually sell to cafe and so on? So what this is helping you to do is think about it more strategically, who you want to be line up with from get-go when it comes to, your tea supplies. Because if you go to a supplier right now who only does herbal and you totally love them, and then later on you want to get some good Japanese green tea or good Assam Indian black tea and so on, what it means is you probably need to go and build different relationships again. And because of that, it means firstly, it's a lot more brain juice, for you to actually manage all those relationships and time as well. But secondly, is also your buying power. So let's say if you are wanting to get, from say 6 tea to 24 types of tea, or opening that your tea range, you might ended up buying 6 from one supplier, another 6 from another one because they're good at different things. And what happens is, you ended up paying more postage because postage is just like tea, economy of scale. So the more you buy, the cheaper it gets. And of course, the tea itself as well. There are certainly, discounts that you are more likely to enjoy if you are getting it, all your orders in one place. And of course, I think the time saver is a really, really big one. And often for a lot of smaller business owners, we've forgotten that our time is chargeable. Our time is valuable. So, if you sit down and pack that pack of tea instead of hiring someone else to do it, and because of that, you're not able to go and, grab another, get another sale or, go out and promote teas, those things are going to affect, the, your business growth, your business health. So I want you to think about this, from a more strategic angle, how you can actually put all the pieces together in a way that it's going to save you time in a long run. And this leads to the next thing I want to talk to you about, and that is how you can actually increase your tea sales. Now, the really obvious path, and I would think you must have heard this before from so many people, and that is, of course, go and get more customers, drum up more sales, go and do marketing, go and do sales, and, so on and so on. And a lot of that is relating to getting new businesses, new customers. Now, new customers cost more than customers who are already with you. And you're just needing to, encourage them to buy a little more or buy a little more regularly. And of course, that encouragement is not about just, pushing something, shoving something down their throat, but it is about something that is really genuinely of value to them, that is going to increase their value, in the user of this product. So it is really important that you look at, increasing your sales from the angle that it's not just about go and get more new customers, new eyeballs, onto your site or coming to your shop, but it is also about how you can flourish and continue the ongoing relationship. And that's why you might have heard me talking about email marketing so often, because time and again, that is the one that is giving us continuous sales. When everything seemed to be a bit flopping about, economy not looking all that crash hard and so on, it's often those repeat customers that giving us, that continuous income. So how do they, become your continuous customers? You have to build a relationship. Just like, if you want to be a good friend with someone, you don't just kind of, go out with them one time and then, expect the whole thing to become, all rosy and everything is clicking and you guys are having, a good, rocking time together. There is investment of time. And actually in sync with them, conversation that interests them. There's a common interest, if you will, and there are things that you can talk and be authentic about, with them. So those things are really, really important when it comes to increasing sales. And I would strongly recommend you to look at your existing customer. What is one baby step today? One tiny thing you can do today to reconnect with them, to even, bring about another sale, another 10 sales, whatever your benchmark might be. One small step that you can do that can increase that, number, turn that dial up. So it is really important that you look at it from that angle. Again, it's not just purely working in the business, but it's on the business. Some of these things that we do, maybe today you make a couple more phone calls, sales calls, checking on some people who have already got quotes from you and stuff like that. Where can you, increase your touch points, so to make sure that people actually remember you when they are thirsty. It is, one of those things that these days, we are totally indulged with choices, and we're bombarded constantly with, messages from, everywhere. So what can we do to come up being helpful? That is really the key here. And sales is about when a supply and a demand intersect. That's where you get a sale, a good, happy sale that is a win-win, right? So it is really key that you go and think about a sale, not just simply, if someone wants 200 gram, you go and sell them 500 gram. Of course, that is fantastic. Upsell is good, but that is just one of the many strategies you can do to increase your sales. And when it comes to Christmas time, what I would highly recommend you to look at is teaware and gift sets. This is a time that you can save people time. They are fried enough with their brain trying to put together the gifts and whatnot. And if you have already got them made, that makes it a lot easier. And it doesn't have to be elaborate. You can have, depending on your customer base, some of them might be more interested in, something that is under $20. Some of them might be interested in something under 50. Another lot may be under 200. So you have got different type of, budget range, and you could be creating something that is quite simple. So for example, under $20 might be just a nice, tall tin that we talked about the other time, and just have a really lovely Christmas decoration or label on it. Make it more themed to Christmas. The tin itself, it's essentially what you might be already stocking, and we do have those tall square tins. And and it's just a label on the outside. It could be even, just a bit of Christmas ribbon or something, so you could really do this quite cost effectively. And then, maybe the larger one might be a 3 tins, together in a nice hamper box, maybe with a couple of those Christmas canes and things like that. There are all different ways of doing it. And it just kind of come down to, how many of those you need to churn out within a short period of time. Because don't forget, you are also trying to save yourself time, because time is money. And so if you actually can create a product that you can quickly reproduce, or your staff to reproduce, that is, a cost saving. And it does affect, your bottom line, which in other words is increasing your sales. If you're selling $10 of something and you are, making, $4 profit or $6 profit, it's going to affect, how many more number of sales that you might want to do before you hit, your sales target for the month, that goal that you want to hit. So I think, it is really important that we do look at our businesses strategically. And, for us running this for 15 years now, we have talked to hundreds and hundreds of tea businesses and tea businesses to be. And, there are just so much myth in the whole DIY thing. A lot of us spend time on nutting things out ourselves. And I actually went to a workshop yesterday, and they were saying that, 80% of the Australian business owners are in this, they call it the wilderness, which is basically that you survive on, it's like in a forest, you can survive on nuts and berries. It's not comfortable, but you can do it. And you can find a way to bear and grin. And that's just it. That is, the space that so many of us live in, or, we don't see that there are better ways to do things, because our ego and our pride, cloud our judgment, thinking that we have to do everything. And this is something that I learned particularly, almost like a, big cold fish, slap on my face kind of thing, when I learned about coaching, when I start having actually, someone helping me to look at the business, from the outside and say, hey, Selena, there's these things you need to look at. Hey, have you thought about, go back and touch base with your existing customers. They are your low-hanging fruit. So it is, just one of those things that we sometimes are just, too close to it to really see it. And that's why having someone else helping you out is fantastic. And what I would strongly recommend you to do is get hold of us, get hold of me, to have a chat. Now, I've been doing tea business coaching, as some of you know, and what I'm going to do is I want to help you guys to succeed. And I know that, the tea business is a continuum. And some of the things that, when we talk about planning, it's not like, we just plan it, we snap the finger and it's all done, right? It's not like that. So what I would like to put together for you is a strategy planning session. And it is actually, even though I say session, it's actually 3 sessions. So there is the pre-call, if you will. There will be a survey, quick survey you fill in. Then we'll get onto a call for 15 minutes or so. And then we have the next call booked. And that is the big chunky one that we will plan the strategy. And that will be maybe an hour or so. If it takes longer, that's fine. And once we've got that game plan, we come and touch base again, maybe say in a week or so's time. So it is actually, 3 calls. And I want to give you, this opportunity to work with me to see just the benefit of actually having someone who have been there and helping you out. I mean, our business generated 5-figure incomes every month, continuously. And, it is possible to have a lifestyle when you are doing this business. It is possible to actually sell more without making yourself feel like crap. And I want you to really understand that when you have someone helping you out, it does not mean that you're no good at it. It does not mean that you end up just spending money on nothing, because it's just like you spend money on hiring an accountant, you hire a lawyer, and things like that. A coach, in many ways, it's just like that. You're getting expertise. So you can actually bypass the pain and do things, get there quicker, get to your goals quicker. So I want to help you out on that. And, this call is usually, the strategy call is usually $297. And I'm going to, put these 3 calls together as a package for you. And for this November and December, I'm going to do that for only $97 for you guys. So I will put out the link later on the email with the replay. And please do consider that as an investment to your business. $97 is really not much at all, and imagine how many sales you can actually bring back by just spending those, couple of hours with me, as well as, this investment. So I really, hope that you got something out of today's session. And welcome anyone who's just joined. We're just about to wrap up, so the call is recorded. Today we talked about choosing a tea supplier, making sure that you really look at, when it comes to choosing a supplier, what you're looking for right now, they satisfy those needs and goals, but also the long-term ones, making sure that you are building a relationship now, which you can continue to harvest, to use, to your advantage in the future as well. We talked about how to increase your Christmas sales, not only the usual way of, doing more marketing, Facebook ads and blah, 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 but also really looking at what you have now, like your existing customers, and how you can, benefit them, by offering something of value to them, which would translate to sales. And of course, last but not least, the strategy plan call session that I was just talking about, the package that is, instead of $297 is $97. And it is basically a few hours that we are going to be really working, honing into your business to keep you moving. It is so important that we actually, give ourselves that chance to invest in the business, to invest in our own skills, right? Like I went to a course and it was about $6,000 for 5 days, I think it was. And when I was thinking about it from a business perspective, I'm like, gee, do I really need this for the business? And I hum and ha. And then something just clicked inside me. I'm like, hang on a minute. What I'm going to learn is not just about, it's not just for this business. This knowledge stays with me. And wherever I go, even if I go back and work for someone else, right? This knowledge is in me. I have just filled my cup, with more valuables. So if you look at training and coaching from that angle, it is, a lifetime value that you can get out of it. And of course, also, it can increase your immediate return depending on, what you set up with the coach, and making sure that you put in pieces, steps, and strategies with the help of your coach to really make it happen. And if I can be that person for you, you think that, so far what we've been talking about is of value to you, that you see that working together, you can really increase the impact of your work right now, the minutes that you spend on your business. Please with me. If you're not sure whether this strategy planning session is right for you, not a worry. You know, as I mentioned, the strategy planning has got 3 pieces there. So the first one after the survey is a pre-call, making sure everything is square out before we actually go into the deep dive with the strategy planning, which could take an hour or so, depending on, you know, how long you need. And then after that main call, the strategy planning call, there'll be another call after that, checking in, making sure, you know, you've got what you need to keep going. And if I can continue to support you after that, not a problem. You know, we can talk about that. So today, our call is coming to a close. I just want to thank all of you to actually, you know, put the time into learning about how to keep your business from just a surviving mode to a thriving mode. And if there's anything I can help you right now, if you have got any question, please let me know. Otherwise, have a fantastic Thursday, and anything else, come back, email us, or I'll see you next Thursday, 11 o'clock Sydney time, Australia. Take care.